Welcome to Paley Front Row, part of the Paley at Home series presented by Citi.
Women have to overcome more obstacles to reach the top. It's made them fiercely determined and more innovative. Just because they can navigate the obstacles doesn't mean they should have to. Citi is committed to investing in opportunities for 10 million women globally by 2025.
All right, guys, you ready? This is, as you can tell by the number of chairs here, America's favorite cast, one of the largest casts from Ghost. Here we go, in order. Devan Chandler Long, who plays the Viking Thorfinn. The Viking! Yes! Yes. Sheila Carrasco, who plays Flower. Yay! Here she is. Roman Zaragoza, who plays Sasapi. Amazing. Grodman, who plays Trevor. Nice. Woohoo! He's got his pants on for you all tonight. He dressed up. Wisocky, who plays Hetty. Fantastic. Brendan Scott Jones or Isaac. Yes. I salute you.
Thank you.
Danielle Pinnock, Alberta, the one and only. There we go. Woo! Welcome. Richie Moriarty, Pete. He left his arrow at home, thankfully. Utkarsh Ambudkar, who plays Jay. Woo! Yes! Yes! By the way, his kids, he was telling me, painted that shirt. That's incredible. That's like superhero talent. Rose McIver, Sam, Samantha. And the executive producer, Joe Port. Hello, Joe. Congratulations. You did it. You're number one. You're number one. Guys, congratulations. I mean, what a huge, it's hard, as you all know, to have a comedy on TV, but to be the #1 comedy in America. What does that feel like? And you're already renewed for a second season, Joe, which is fantastic. I mean, what is it about this cast? What is it about Ghost that you think makes people want to dive in and fall in love with these characters?
Well, I think I got to pay tribute to the British show, which Joe and I are such fans of.
Yep.
You know, they created something really special, and when we watched it, we took to it, and we also thought it was very adaptable and something that could be, transported to America because of the focus on the ghosts and the archetypes, and, we could sink our teeth into American history.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a little learning that you get from the show as well, the history of it. Rose, how has your life changed?
Well, I get to learn American history.
From New Zealand, yes.
I'm from New Zealand, so it's completely changed in so many ways. I got this great new family of incredible people to work with and the most incredibly supportive audience who we finally get to meet some of tonight in person. I'm super grateful, yeah.
These are your super fans.
So grateful.
Yeah. Utkarsh, what about for you? How has life changed? Are you getting recognized all the time?
I'll tell you how it changed. Hi, guys. So I was running with Boomy, that's my son, in the neighborhood, and this woman's like, "Oh, are you on Ghosts?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And she's like, "Well, that's our show. We watch it every Thursday. Welcome to the neighborhood." I've been living in the neighborhood for several years. But it's nice to know that because of Ghosts, I'm starting to get recognized by my neighbors.
You finally arrived in the neighborhood.
I was like, we got trick-or-treated at your house so many years ago.
I know, so funny.
It's cool, though. So that's a nice change.
What about for you, Richie?
Oh man, I mean, speaking of trick-or-treaters, I had a little girl who dressed up as my character
I
show
saw
up
that.
at my door on Halloween, not knowing that I lived there. So I live in New Jersey, and this little girl, I mean, we were 3 weeks into the show airing.
Yes.
And this little girl rang my doorbell, and I had just put a little bucket of candy out on the steps to be like, we were having dinner. I have 2 little kids. I was like, you know, give us 5 minutes of peace while we eat dinner, and then we'll come back out and give out candy. And my doorbell rang as soon as I put the bucket out, and I was like, what? What is your problem? What do you want? And I went to the door, and this little girl is dressed as Pete, and her jaw is dropped, and her mom is there, and her jaw is dropped, and my jaw is dropped. I'm like, the show just started airing. Like, why are you dressed as my character? What's happening? And it turned out she was making her way down our street. She rang our neighbor's doorbell, and our neighbor was like, oh, that's cute. You're dressed as Richie from Ghosts. And she's like, no, I'm dressed as Pete from Ghosts. And she's like, yeah, the actor lives 3 doors down.
Oh my gosh.
They freaked out. I freaked out. It was incredible. Such a moment.
It's incredible. Yes. I think we talked about that on the talk, actually. Yeah, because we just loved it so much. What a great, that's so surreal, out of body.
I mean, it was truly, that's going to be hard to beat, that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, next Halloween, I don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm surprised that it wasn't Ashton Kutcher with like a little mask.
Maybe it was, and this is just a long game.
Been punked.
In like 4 more months, you'll be like, you got punked, remember?
Yeah. Devin, as Thorfinn, I'm sure you get all the time, give me the Viking, right?
I do get it upon occasion, yes.
Yes. Including me backstage. You gotta record a message for my son who wants to be a Viking.
I get a lot of Thorfinn interactions. In fact, I went to like a little brunch, and I was waiting to pick my car up, and there was a lady who was probably like 70s, and so she was like, you know who you remind me of? I was like, oh, she's gonna say like Conor McGregor. Maybe she'll say it like Jason Momoa, even though I look nothing like him. So I was like, maybe, you know, please. And she's like, you look like this guy from Ghosts. I was like, Thorfinn? She's like, yes. I was like, I am Thorfinn. She's like, oh, that's great. And then I told her a lot of unsolicited stories about Ghosts, and she wanted nothing to do with any of my stories. I was like, we have so much fun, and we love each other, and we work up there in Montreal. And she's like, that's not... And she ghosted me.
Oh, she ghosted you.
Like, wow, full circle.
I love that.
Yeah.
We talked about how this has changed your life. Let's talk about like the connection that you all have, because it's immediate from the get-go. The chemistry, it's all there, it's real. I was watching you guys backstage. We do a little prayer before we go out on the talk. You guys look like you do a cheer before you came out here, is that right?
That was new because we haven't done anything together in person
I know, this is our first thing. Like
this is your first thing, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys get to witness this, their first thing.
Yeah. This is the first time we've been all together in this country.
Yeah.
Like
That's true.
Yeah.
It's right, because you shoot the show in Montreal. Yeah, exactly. Is that a real like mansion that you shoot it in? Like,
yes.
Haunted?
The exteriors you see are a real mansion.
Yes.
In somewhere called Montebello, which is like a couple hours outside of Montreal.
Okay.
But then we shot the pilot in Los Angeles and at a real mansion by USC, and then they built a replica of that mansion on a soundstage in Montreal.
So we could go visit it by USC, the exterior?
Yeah. Well, the exterior looks different than our exterior, but the interior looks very close to the same.
Zoe Sokoloropoulos is our set designer, and she is phenomenal and so talented, and there's so many stories interwoven and buried in there in our sets that have yet to unfold. I think the show looks like a film. It's very beautiful, and it's largely...
Tell me about the chemistry and the first time you all get to meet each other. I mean, I imagine, you know, different scenes require different people to be on set that day. But I know some of you actually have some history together and have worked. There's sort of 6 degrees. Who all worked together before the show? Did any, or you knew of each other?
I don't know anyone here.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Rebecca and I.
Yeah.
Oh, you
still don't know who these guys are.
Yes.
Yeah, my very first show at the Geffen, I was an understudy, and I had actually lied to get that job, and because I was like, I want to move to LA, but I need some money. Yeah. So I told people at the Geffen I lived in Sherman Nice because I couldn't remember Van Nuys.
Oh my God.
And I understudied Barbecue that Coleman Domingo directed, and Rebecca was absolutely absolutely fabulous in it. So we worked together before.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting connections. Like my dad, who's actually here tonight, works.
Wait, where's your dad? Wait, can you stand up? Ramon's dad, please stand up. Awesome. I love that. Yay.
My dad worked with Rebecca back in.
We did very late night sketch comedy in New York City many.
Yeah.
When you were but a wee babe.
That's right. And then also Sheila worked with my dad as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh,
we did a
really?
sketch show maybe
It's like a
6
family
years ago.
affair.
Kevin
here.
Bacon of Ghost.
And you know, I remembered him telling me how proud he was of his kids and telling me all about his kids. And
Oh my gosh.
Here we are.
here we
Who
are.
knew? That is like 2 degrees, not even 6 degrees.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yeah.
And
You were in
Utkarsh
the-
and I went to high school together and did not know each other in high school. We were
Where'd
there
you go to
at
high
the same
school?
time. We went to Wooten High School in
That's not
Rockville,
true.
Maryland.
Richie bullied Utkarsh.
This is the rumor that many of the cast have started to get going, including Ian.
Utkarsh, did you bully him? Be honest.
Richie Moriarty was an asshole.
Was he a Boy Scout in high school?
He's gotten way
He
nicer.
absolutely did not know me in high school.
yeah,
I
no.
did not know him either.
And then I went to New York to college, and Sheila and I went to college together.
That's right. And we actually did a play together. And I think we were the only 2 cast members that did not get naked in the final scene.
Ooh. Well, that's maybe a good thing.
Yeah.
When did you know we've got something here? Because it's one thing to like take what was a hit show and say, let's make it for an American audience, but then to know we've got the secret sauce.
Yeah, I thought it was good, like, when we were casting. Like, I mean, you know, sometimes you talk yourself into something and you know, during the process, but, you know, the thing about casting is you only need to see one right person for every part. You know, you can see a lot of people, and each of these people were, like, so right for the part when they came in. And Joe and I were looking at ourselves like, I don't know, they seem really good.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then it went on TV and like, it just, a lot of people would get in touch with me, and I'm sure with all of them too, and in a way that I hadn't experienced before.
It's the harmony in this group is really special. There's so many people on this stage from all different walks of life. I think I got to give you your flowers. It really starts with Rose. She's our number one, and she sets the tone for us all. You show up to work, which is why I get to phone it in.
Yeah.
But
I do love work, and I love working with this group. And I mean, I want to pass those flowers straight on back to you, of course. I'll give you back a tulip there.
No.
And then I'll pass the rest of them on to 3 amazing people who are here tonight. We've got Tanis, Valerie, Elizabeth Barnes, and Jonathan. Thank you so much, you guys, for casting. They put us all together. And we really can't explain how grateful we feel. It's so easy. One sort of bad egg in the bunch, and we got a massive problem. And we really have an incredible cast together. So
I'd like to circle back to the whole casting thing. That room was the smallest casting room I've ever been in.
Well, Devin,
I thought I was doing a lap dance on Joe's lap. I came in and he's right there, and I'm like, what?
and that's how you got the job.
I just kind of straddled him, and I did a Thorfinn thing, and they're like, "That's great." I was like, I hope I got the job.
That's true. It is a small room.
That was a very small. It's a broom closet, and magic happens in there, and this is what you see here. We all went in the broom closet. We came out alive.
Well, it worked. Whatever made you feel very intimate right away, right?
Yeah, real
There you
real
go.
close.
Yeah.
And some of us even got cast on Zoom.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was in the later bunch, and I remember literally my agent sent a self-tape. I said, oh, Alberta, 1920s, let's do it. So I called my mama. I said, Mama, let me get that little shake and go wig you got in the closet, and I throw it on. And I had this little,
Oh, gosh.
Joe is good. I had this little red hat that I had when I did Major Barbara in downtown Chicago in somebody's basement. I said, she needs a hat. And I got this random fur that I think was like a rug, and I just did the character. And then I remember Joe in my screen test, he said, let's try one without the hat. I said, let's do it.
Good idea.
And then now, who got a hat?
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't know it. You were already projecting what Hetty had to be. That's it. That's it. You manifested, it happens, right? You got to believe it. When you think back, though, to like very first couple of times on set, did you guys think, this is going to be like one of the greatest shows I've ever worked on. Who could honestly say
Richie
that?
said that multiple times on the first day. He said, this is the best show that's
And then
ever
you said, this
existed."
is the only show you've ever right. No, I think, like, first of all, we definitely felt a camaraderie, I think, very quickly with the group. But you don't know what a show's gonna be until it's out in the world, right? And you don't know how it's gonna be edited and put together and marketed. I mean, I wanna say, like, a huge thank you to CBS. From the beginning, they have thrown their weight behind this show. And it's, you know, I know so many actors, we all do, who have been on shows and they don't get marketed and nobody ever sees them. So part of it is just like CBS really believes in the thing and have really helped us get it out there and get it in front of viewers.
Well, it's easy to love, I think, because it is a show that you can sit down as a family. I know because my 2 boys like love this show as much as I do. And so, you know, they're like, okay, one more on Paramount Plus, one more. I'm like, okay, it's time for bed. So, what were you gonna say, Joe?
Well, I was gonna say about we had a table read in March of 2020. And that, you were asking me about like when did I really know? That was like kind of electric, I thought. We didn't have the whole cast yet, but a lot of them. And then we were supposed to shoot the pilot 2 days later, and we got shut down because this was March of 2020.
Oh my gosh, right.
And I will say CBS they kept the thing alive for 9 more months, you know, and I think that table read, them seeing it was very helpful because it made it tangible. And it also began, you were talking about that text chain before, like a relationship for all these people where they didn't get to shoot the pilot for 9 more months, but they started talking and like becoming friends, I think.
Yeah, we became the light at the end of the tunnel for each other.
Yeah.
And so when we finally got to do it, like a year later, it was like kids in a candy store.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
And we have felt so guided the whole way by Joe Wiseman, who's not here tonight, but is amazing as well. And we also had Trent O'Donnell directing us, and to feel like we had this really incredible leadership. It just felt like in a very uncertain time when we were all sort of wondering what's next, feeling so grateful to have this possible job to look forward to. It really does, it means a lot feeling like they were being the parents. They were like being confident and holding it together, and this is gonna happen, and this is how it's gonna happen, and we really needed that at that moment. So yeah, we're all very grateful.
You know, I love
like a first opportunity that we've been in a vacuum. They greenlit us, then we went up to Montreal. It's super French. I mean, there's just butter and processed meat everywhere. But we've been making this show just by ourselves. We've only had each other. So to be able to come out into the world and celebrate it with you means so much to us. It's just so cool that all you guys are here.
You know what I've loved, like getting to know sort of the backstory behind each of your characters. Thorfinn is the Viking, Sheila, you know, how Flower, what happened to her.
Yeah, she robbed a bank. I don't know if she told anyone.
Yeah, that was an amazing story. I loved that. That was so great. And Ramon, and also to play a Native American, which you are half Native American, right? And Spanish?
I'm mixed. I am of Akamaota, Mexican, Japanese, and Taiwanese descent. And to be able to play this character and bring some Native representation to primetime TV means the world. And to, you know, also to really talk about the Native representation, we have to talk about the Native representation behind the camera, like John Timothy in the writer's room, who's Muskogee Creek, Joe Baker. Joe Baker is our Lenape consultant, and Jim Rementer was also our Lenape speech and text expert. And to have them, especially for that episode that my father got to be in it as well, it's just so exciting to have. Yeah, it's so exciting to have that kind of Native representation, and I also got to give it up to Joe Port and Joe Wiseman to like really allowing me to participate in the conversations and discussions about, you know, what we want Sasapis to be, and so I'm just really grateful to have them.
Yeah, I mean, and also I will say about, you mentioned the writer's room, we have, you know, we have so many points of view on the show, and it's also well represented in the writer's room because, you know, the show is about so many different pieces of history and stuff that, you know, we have interest in, but we're not experts in, and there's so many great writers that help guide us.
do the research and do all the hard work. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just, just are great writers and have distinct points of view.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the most diverse casts, too, on television, which I love to see that diversity represented. You don't see that on a lot of shows, and especially not the #1 American show in comedy, which is amazing. Going back to the backstories, Rose, in this episode, Attic Girl, we saw a little bit more about what happened to Rose during her prom. What did you love about getting to know a little bit more about her story, and where do we see Rose going?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. We were all standing backstage celebrating, and I was like, guys, everybody stop talking. I'm trying to hear this episode. Like, we haven't seen it yet. So I'm like, how did it turn out? Is it, what happens? It was really fun. It was Samantha, looking into Samantha's like backstory, and the more we kind of flesh these characters out, there's obviously a lot of us to service, and a lot of really talented people with really interesting characters. So that's what makes me think the show has a lot of life in it, is like we can continue to explore and dig deeper and flash back to all sorts of periods of history, and mine's obviously a recent period of history in this. And it was fun. It's interesting. I think I understand her better and better with each episode.
Yeah, I'm hoping, and we've seen with Jay Utkarsh, that you are sort of able to communicate through like mirrors and like, on the glass in the bathroom. Are you gonna ever actually get to see them? I mean, Joe, are you gonna have a real relationship with the ghosts? I mean, you could hit your head again or something like that, like you did that one episode.
Hey, pitch him. I'm all ears.
Because I want you to experience what Sam has. Like, it's a real friendship.
What have I done?
Right?
I think this is turning into marriage counseling.
Yeah, these ghosts have your back, though. They protect you. They are with you, and you also protect
sometimes
them.
I think I wouldn't mind turning the volume down a little, and we both have struggles, don't we? As husband and wife.
I think so. It's so difficult to act opposite this ensemble because they're just so funny, and I'm not allowed to.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, Joe Port has really trapped me in this suffocating body of being unable to share the joy and fun.
We need Jay to let loose a little.
They're so good, and Rose, I'll just echo Rose. Every single one of the characters is so strong.
So
I don't know how we've done it. We're just super lucky. Every character is so clear, iconic, has their own point of view on life, comes from a very specific time period. Like, we don't shy away from what Alberta has had to go through in her past. Like, Sasapis gets to tell his story. Thorfinn, I don't know, he ate a squirrel. Like, it's like, we tackle deep issues.
We can all relate to that.
But I think that's why it does connect with so many different people.
I know,
You might not relate to one character, but you do to another.
Yeah, but you're like, I lost my pants too.
Yeah.
And that's why I watched the show.
Which now we know how you lost your pants, those who watch religiously.
And I want to give him his flowers because when he had to embody Hetty, are you kidding? That was a master class in acting. And the Emmy goes too, okay? Absolutely killed it. I mean, it was one of my favorite episodes of the season, and Utkarsh is just like magnetic in that. And Rebecca, I mean, my God, this woman
keep it
is-
on him. Keep it
no,
on him.
No. Please pivot.
Pass the panels now. Okay? Pass the panel. You are just everything and more, and I just feel so lucky to be a part of this.
It's little things that Rebecca does that I get to watch and witness, where it's just real quick, like right before a scene, she'll just be like, so how do we think we feel about this moment? And no matter how innocuous the moment, it's nice to see an ensemble getting on the same page. And not all groups get to have that kind of rapport. We're very lucky and fortunate to have found this together.
Rebecca, talk about that a little bit, about that, like meeting this group and becoming a part of this cast. And
I'm hardly the leader of this group, but wait, ask a better question, sorry.
About becoming a part of this.
Talk about it.
But you're like the master class in acting.
That was really embarrassing.
Yes.
Meeting the group, it was all right.
I still love when Tig Utaro recognized you, right? And she went on the Tonight Show.
No, she didn't recognize me.
Oh, she didn't. No, she
Story,
didn't. You were on a plane. She didn't recognize you, but everybody recognized her and was like, going up to her asking for pictures, and Tig is like...
A couple people recognize me, and Tig Notaro, of whom I am a huge fan, is also famous for not recognizing people. She has a whole show dedicated for not knowing who people are. Very people, much more famous than me.
Right.
She's wonderful. But anyhow, yes, I sat next to her on a plane and just dug myself a hole of politeness when I just thought to myself, oh, I'm sitting next to Tig Notaro. I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna act cool like I don't know who she is. And then it backfired on me a little. And she ended up, I was the butt of her joke on
well, she took a picture of you, right? And she's like, help me out, social media. Help me identify who this is. And everybody in social media is like, how could you not get that? That's.
I was amazed that people recognize me from here up, yes.
Yeah, because they're asking on plane.
Like incorrect guesses, because people are like, that's clearly Andy McDowell. We're like, what? There's so many people that were just wrong.
Has to be Denzel Washington.
I know Denzel when I see him. That's Denzel.
But playing Hetty, who sort of rules the roost of this mansion, at least I think she does. I mean,
well, she thinks she does. Nobody else does.
She does. She does.
No, we all think she does.
Yeah. Playing this character that is, I mean, she is larger than life, or larger in death, or however you want to put it. But what was it like? Did you do research? Did you go back into that time period a little bit?
I think a lot of us have really enjoyed doing a deep dive on the research for our own particular time periods. I certainly did, and I read a lot of things that I read in high school and in college, but didn't really land with me in the same way that they did when I read them from the perspective of someone who is going to have to embody those thoughts and feelings and circumstances of a woman in the 1900s in America. And so that's been very fulfilling for me just as a human being. And I think it's something that has really resonated with audiences to, we deal, the Joes deal with things that are, provocative and resonant and in a way that is very light and silly and delightful. So, so yes, I've been reading a lot of books.
Anybody else do a deep dive into the research of who their characters?
March Madness?
Oh man, March Madness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sheila and I had a lovely episode where we had to know a lot of basketball references, which I grew up, Pete and I overlapped a little bit in life. I was born in 1980, so Pete was died in 85. So I grew up with like 80s Celtics basketball.
Yeah?
My parents are both from Boston, and I grew up like...
Yes. Why?
Truly awful.
Larry Bird. Woo. Yeah.
Well, I grew up with a Boston shirt that said "I hate LA," so sorry, LA. Yeah, bring it. What are you gonna do?
They loved you until you just said that.
Larry Bird, greatest of all time.
Okay, well, let me just say, I grew up in Chicago in the 90s, so I think I
Yes. Can we talk?
So yeah, Sheila and I had to do some basketball research, and Sheila loves and is great at basketball.
Oh, thank you.
So had a lot of
really good.
references.
I grew up playing basketball,
really
so actually the episode where Flower reveals that she played basketball growing up and played with her brothers and has all these great, facts in her head about basketball to Pete, that was a total surprise to me that the Joes really gifted me with. I was so excited. And I love the NBA, but I don't follow college basketball.
I was going to say, did you pick Kansas to win it all?
No, they've been messing with our...
Yes. She's like, I think so.
Yeah, sure. That's Flower. She probably wouldn't really remember, but yeah.
How much do people expect you to be your characters when you're out in public?
Why don't we ask our Critics' Choice nominated actor,
Brandon
Scott. Brandon.
Thank you. That's how you pass the ball, people.
So glad you got the memo. That's how I know.
Yes. That's a huge honor.
How do people expect me to be Isaac? My wife always is like, aren't you gay? And I'm like, yeah. That's the most romantic thing that she says to me, too. No, I don't have a wife. I'm very single. I don't have anybody. I'm moving through this world alone, and in that way, I'm much like Isaac.
But you have 800 fans who love you here.
Yeah.
So you got that. Speaking of fans, there is one super fan who perhaps in the galaxy of galaxies is perhaps the greatest super fan of all time, Mark Hamill, of Luke Skywalker. What did you guys think when you saw and that he tweeted about your show being as brilliant as it is?
I screamed.
You screamed?
I was like, oh my God. And then retweeted it.
I mean, he knows good TV.
Yeah.
None of us believed it. We thought it was like...
We thought it was the most expensive marketing
thought
plan.
he got paid a lot of money to do
Who
that.
was the entry point, though? Who tweeted first? Asher, did you tweet first?
I did. I was the first one.
I think
It was
so.
like a photo.
No, it
I
couldn't have
didn't believe it.
No.
Yeah, the original was unsolicited. He was just like, is anybody watching Ghost? This is the greatest show on TV.
I thought it was going to be the little kid with the arrow through their neck, like pulls off that and pulls off the Ashton Kutcher, and
just
is
like a
then
deep
Mark Hamill.
fake deal, yeah.
Not only did he tweet about it, he sent everybody individual personalized messages, which is just unreal.
Crazy.
He did?
Yes,
So
he did.
inspiring. Oh
He
my
did.
gosh, that is
On all
incredible.
platforms.
And that's
He's
how we knew he
amazing.
wasn't paid to do it, because he was so specific.
Yeah.
Compliment.
Yeah.
He was.
No, he just
went on
he
like
knows a
kindness
good
spree.
thing when he sees it. I mean, that's it. I mean,
Mark's got great taste.
of course he does.
He just really, he knows how to dress himself and he knows how to watch television.
So I have to ask the obvious follow-up: is there any chance that he could be in an episode like
Do it, Joe.
Joe?
Yes.
The ghost of Luke Skywalker. Yes? Yes. Right? Would that be huge? You guys can put that one on Twitter tonight, please, to make it happen.
Yes.
He's
actually
secured.
here right now, Mark Hamill.
I mean, who forgot to invite Mark Hamill? Come on, guys. He would have shown up tonight. He should have been up here moderating, talking to you guys.
He's actually moderating the
lightsaber
neighborhood
battle.
panel.
There's going to be a light.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow the ghosts have to like.
Guys, can you imagine Jay if Mark Hamill showed up?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I pitched that he plays my dad.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
That could work. I would love that,
I
huh?
think it's an easy thing to see.
Yeah. Why not?
Hairline, so it matches up. It matches up.
Yeah. You've had so many great guests as well.
Yeah.
Special guests on, including this episode that we got to see as well. Who else do you have? Can you give us some big names that you might like to see? Or
Gosh. I don't know. You know, Mark Hamill would be really
Yes,
good. I would
huge.
like that. And Wiseman would really like that.
Yes.
You know who I want.
who do you want?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
That's your number one, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Way high. Hamill is way lower than Jason PD.
Oh my gosh.
Heart.
I'll also throw Lizzo, if she was like
Lizzo.
a great descendant of Alberta. That would
This is a
be
great. That is a
amazing.
great idea.
Came to the bed and
Brilliant.
breakfast. Are you kidding? It's your girl's trip.
She's
Lizzo.
playing the flute while she's serving
my
breakfast.
God.
Oh my
That's
God.
my grandbaby. That's her.
Joe, they're writing this for you.
I know,
as
this
we
is
sit here
great.
like this is great material.
I'd like to throw in Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Danny Trejo.
I think Alberta wants Jason Momoa, so
Yes.
Without question.
Yes.
Yeah,
make that
Isaac also wants Jason. Brandon also wants.
Jason Momoa will play my great grandson,
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe.
I like it.
Yes, make it happen. Well, I feel like if you put the ask out there, people would hop to do this show because it's just fun. It's clearly like you're so inviting as a group. I can't imagine why anybody would, unless they're just not available. But yeah, make it happen. We want more of this.
Momo is available.
Momo will be there. So we saw the second to the last episode here. Can you give us a little preview of how we're going to leave things hanging?
Yeah, well, in the finale, season finale, they're about to open the bed and breakfast.
Finally.
And
What could possibly
Finally.
go wrong?
yeah,
I know.
they run into some difficulty, but hopefully at the beginning of next season, they will have the bed and breakfast up and running, and we'll have be able to have people walking through the door as guests. Jason
More
Momoa,
interaction.
yeah.
Jason Momoa's spending a night at the bed and breakfast.
Oh my
And
God.
lo and behold, there comes Hetty.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jason Momoa is in
Mark
the show, and
Hamill.
then lo and behold, here comes. And the camera just pivots, and that's the story.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see Harvey Guillen from What We Do in the Shadows. That's what I'm keen for. And they actually shoot in Toronto. I'm very logistic in my thinking. I'm like, they shoot in Toronto. We're in Montreal. This is
Easy
doable.
drive.
That's a no-brainer.
No, I've worked with him before. He's a really nice guy. He'd be great on set. So that's my pitch.
I would love to see the ghost from the original BBC version.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Rebecca.
And we would also like to
I would like that. We'd like that.
Yes, that's a great idea. Little crossover, little promotional crossover. I think we have time for some guest questions now. So go ahead right there. If you want it, there's a microphone coming your way.
Hello. My name is Erica. Yes, girl, you know me.
Yes.
Yeah. Danielle and I have actually been standing for Danielle twice. So our paths keep running into each other, girl.
Wow.
How you doing?
I'm good, boo.
Hint to executive producer up there. Alberta needs a cousin. And I'm not Lizzo, but
Shoot your shot.
I can work it.
Wet and wavy wig, you're going to be right Lizzo there, okay?
Yeah.
Come on.
Can you play the flute?
Yes.
No, but I can sing the hell out of it. Me and Alberta can do it like semi-duo.
There you go. Okay.
Anyway, my question is, as she was originally starting out, asking the cast how their lives has changed, I would like to know how your life has changed since you've gotten Alberta.
Oh, dear God. Well, I definitely have a lot of cool points with my Caribbean family. The WhatsApp is blowing up, y'all. I think as a first-gen Caribbean kid, you know, people want you to be the doctor, the lawyer, and now being an actor on broadcast television.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
Yes.
It's been
Amazing.
It has changed every aspect of my life. I've wanted this my whole life, and I've been that journeyman actor. I run a page called #Booked that I do with my co-creator, Lanisa Frederick, about the misadventures of being a black actor in the industry. And child, I played the disgruntled receptionist, the sad truck driver, and to be a plus-size black woman playing this incredible, brassy 1920s Prohibition-era ghost is just been the greatest treat and the gift. Thank you, Joe Port and Joe Wiseman, for giving me this opportunity.
Yes. Yeah. Amazing. Okay, you want to ask your question? Go ahead.
Hi, my third grade son and I have watched not only all the American ghosts, but also all the BBC ghosts.
Wow.
Which is why he never has his homework done on time.
Yeah.
But he
Are
wanted
you
me
going to yell at us?
Can you write a note to his teacher? No. So he wanted me to ask you, how did you decide which ghosts to keep, which to get rid of, and which to sort of shift a little? Because you did it perfectly.
Oh, thank you.
So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about it a lot, and the Boy Scout just seemed like, I was surprised they had that in England. That seemed like such an American archetype to me. And, you know, with like Asher's character, we knew we had to have a pantsless ghost. I felt like we already had a politician in Isaac, so it seemed overlappy to have two. And I went to college with a lot of finance bros, and I just thought that was such an American archetype. And then, I don't know, you know, we made a list of like 25, 30 different American archetypes and whittled it down, and I really like the ones we have. But I feel like we're gonna meet other ghosts, you know, as the series goes on, so we can use some of the ones that we didn't go with.
Yeah, like Headless Biker.
Headless biker? Oh, gosh.
Our Crash. We found out that a headless ghost is not in the budget.
Oh,
This shit is,
okay.
very expensive.
Green
No,
screen.
no personality with the headless ghost, right?
Oh,
Okay, do we have one more? We'll do one more question, sorry.
How'd you end up in Montreal?
Oh, yeah, when it was time to shoot the series, you know, I think it's a budgetary thing, and it's, there's great crews in Montreal, and it was a place that was more affordable to shoot it and could do it at a very high level. And we've been really happy there. The only problem is it gets very cold, very cold.
It does.
So.
But the crew that had to step on up there and like just jump in, we'd already come up with the pilot, we'd already brought all these ideas, and they stepped in and like really exceeded expectations. It was pretty remarkable and a lot of pressure.
During COVID, during a very challenging time in human history. I mean, look, we were so lucky. Our crew was incredible. It's amazing.
So merci beaucoup.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
That is Spanish for poutine.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for what you do. I just want to thank you for especially the one episode where Brandon, you shared with Hetty your love interest. I had a niece who identifies as Sam now, so he came to me and had such a similar conversation. And to me, that is so important, that it brings families together and it just opens up the doors to certain conversations. So I wanted to thank you all for that.
Oh my
and
God.
and Brandon, I'm a Gasper.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I love that. That was awesome. Yeah. Are you getting teary there, Brandon?
I'm sorry?
You're getting a little teary.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that's
yeah.
like,
I'm so
that's-
grateful. Thank you for sharing that.
That
That's awesome.
truly is when you are connecting with an audience, when
Yeah.
you know you're hitting it out of the ballpark and then some. It's incredible. You guys keep doing a great job. You're an amazing cast. I can't wait for Mark Hamill, Jason Momoa, and all of those future guest stars that are going to be on as well. But you guys are the real deal. Congratulations on season 1, and let's get going on season 2 of Ghosts. Yes. And with that, thank you for joining us for Ghosts. Here they are, your cast of Ghosts.